Welcome to DCTB.tv. My name is Philip Banse. We are at the DLD Women Conference in Munich 2012. My next guest is John Coates from the University of Cambridge and an author of a book called The Hour Between Dog and Wolf. He's a former trader. Welcome to the program, John.
Thank you.
So, The Hour Between Dog and Wolf, what do you want to say to us?
Well, it's a strange title for a book on the biology of risk-taking. It's an old French expression dating back to about 1100, but before that in Latin to about 200 AD. Refers to the time of day when you can't tell whether an animal coming out of the woods is a dog or a wolf, but it also has a darker meaning, and that is a moment when a tame animal or human can morph into something a lot more dangerous. I chose that title because when I was working on Wall Street, I noticed that traders on an extended winning streak making above average profits and expecting above average bonuses. I'm speaking also of myself and others. We have a tendency to transform into different, more dangerous people.
Okay, and so you have been a trader on Wall Street. Just introduce us to this world. What kind of decisions did you have to make, and how did you make it? What was the atmosphere?
I started off at Goldman Sachs and ended up running a derivatives trading desk for Deutsche Bank. It was sort of an interesting period when I was at Deutsche Bank because it was in New York, because it was the time of the dot-com bubble. And so I got to observe firsthand the effects of irrational exuberance, where traders became euphoric and delusional, they became overconfident. They were taking trades, putting on trades of ever-increasing size, bigger and bigger risk, with worsening risk-reward trade-offs. And I was sort of curious as to what was going on, because to me it really felt almost narcotic, this effect of an extended winning streak, the effect it has on you. You start carrying yourself a bit like a master of the universe, as they say in English.
You said traders get more dangerous. Why is that?
Well, it turns out, I mean, we're now, I'm back at Cambridge, we're studying the biology of risk-taking. And we're doing a series of experiments both on trading floors in the City of London, but also at the Research Hospital at the University of Cambridge. And when we take risk by its very nature threatens to hurt you. And when you take risk, even financial risk, your entire body gears up for the activity. Economics tends to think that financial risk-taking is a purely intellectual activity, that you're calculating returns and probabilities and the optimal allocation of capital. But in fact, when you're taking risk, including financial risk, your whole body participates. Your heart beats faster, your blood pressure increases, your immune system stands on high alert, you get a shot of adrenaline, and more importantly, your steroid hormones, like testosterone and cortisol, which is the main stress hormone, flood into your body and help you prepare physically for the risk you're about to take. Economics and finance has never looked at this physical side of trading, and it turns out that it has an enormous effect on the risks you take, the amount of risk you take, and the type of risk you take.
And so it enhances the risk you take, it makes you more risk. What?
Well, under normal circumstances, our biology has been very, very well crafted to help us take risk. We can react to the world far faster than our conscious brain can keep up with. We have very fast speed reactions. We have gut feelings. One of the most interesting things in physiology is discovery that gut feelings are more than just myth, they're real physiological entities. And these help us, guide us when we're taking risk so that we can make decisions quickly. But in situations of overwhelming opportunity, like a bull market or an extended winning streak for a trader, the biology can become unbalanced. And hormones like testosterone can cause you to take too much risk as they rise in your body and prepare you for this above average opportunity. And that's when, under the influence of this hormone, you can start taking too much risk with worsening risk-reward trade-offs. And
would you say that the latest financial crisis is not only but also rooted in this phenomenon?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of objective factors go into creating a financial crisis, like historically low real interest rates, financial deregulation, changes in the marketplace, new technologies. But what we need at the core of economics and finance is a model of how humans react to these objective changes. And I think increasingly that model, which in economics has been the model of a rational agent, is being replaced by one that shows that we're more biological creatures.
And what does it mean? What should be the conclusions from these insights?
Well, I think once you realize that our body and our brain aren't separate, that they act together, that when we take risks, our body is as involved as our brain, then you start thinking of other ways of managing traders, of risk management. Risk management right now focuses on statistical metrics to get a snapshot of the risk in the firm's positions, but those metrics don't capture changes in behavior amongst the trading population. I think increasingly we have to rely or start learning from sports science, because sports scientists are probably know more than anybody on how to manage biology in the interest of performance. So on an individual level, there are certain toughening regimes that you can do, designed by sports scientists, that make you more immune to these physiological spikes that contribute to irrational exuberance and pessimism. On the risk management level, I think that risk managers should understand this biology so that they can recognize unstable behavior and do things like, when a trader's on a winning streak, they shouldn't be forever expanding risk limits, because that's something that contributes to the winner effect and the eventual blow up. I think they should be regularly taking traders off the floor and allowing their biology to reset.
And do you imagine traders with wristbands measuring their pulse?
We're doing that with a hedge fund. I don't know if you can do that in the banks, but hedge funds certainly can do that. But beyond that, and even a broader conclusion might be that if biology is contributing to shifting risk preferences in the financial world, then you could maybe stabilize those risk preferences by having more women and older men managing money, because they have very different biologies to young males.
How is the biology of women and older men different from those of males?
Women have about 10% of the testosterone as men, so they may be immune to the winner effect. Older men, your testosterone levels decline over the course of your life, so they also have lower levels of testosterone. And their cortisol levels, their stress hormones, their stress response reacts quite differently to competitive stressors.
And what about sports? I mean, you mentioned these sports science. Are there certain sports traders should involve in, and others they should better not involved in? Or?
You know what? It's a good question. I think there's no single answer for that. Once you get down to the personal level, it depends whether they're going through a period where they're feeling exuberant or whether they're chronically stressed, and what kind of person they are. That's when sports scientists start tailoring their programs to the individual. There's no such thing as just a generic training program. But I do think that stress in the workplace is one of the #1 causes of illness in the West, and increasingly we have to start within the workplace bridging medical assessments with physiology and personal trainers to develop personal training regimes that are tailored to what the person is going through at that point in their career.
And coming back to the women aspect, do you think that women are better traders then?
They're not better traders, they're just different traders. And difference in the market spells stability.
And you would argue for a mixture of men and women on the trading floors?
Men, women, young and old, yeah. I think then you get a much more diverse biology, more stable risk preferences.
And from your knowledge of Wall Street, is it a realistic approach? Will that happen?
I think it's coming.
It's coming?
Yep.
Can you support this kind of development anyhow, or is it up to the laws of Wall Street to develop this?
I think it'll start with the hedge funds, because they're more willing to take risks with different risk-taking models. I think it'll start with them discovering the potentially higher returns that can come from having more women on their trading floor, and when they start doing it, the banks will eventually follow.
Last question, just provide us with an example. Let's assume, okay, there's a hedge fund that has implemented all the measures and ideas you have developed in your book. How would it look like if I were a trader and I had a risk management that is set up like you would imagine in your book, how does it look like?
Well, I think the trading floor to begin with would be the mixture that we talked about of young and old, men and women. I think on a personal level, people's the training they do outside work, in the gym, in their sports life, I think that can be tailored in a way to develop what they call physiological toughening, so that you develop the physical resources to withstand the biological imbalances of both exuberance and pessimism. On the trading floor, the risk managers could be more aware, whether they're doing monitoring or not, of the imbalances to which traders can be prone, and maybe pulling traders off the trading floor when they're on a winning streak, giving them what effect is like a rain break at Wimbledon so their biology can reset.
Okay, I understand there might be some physiological signs of stress and like you said, on the winning string, but are there signs, behavioral signs? Do you see any sign? Okay, he's doing this trade and he's investing more and more money, and so what are the behavioral signs of a trader?
Well, in the olden days, risk management involved the head of the trading desk sitting. He was the risk manager. He would just sit there and watch his traders, and they had far better insight into what the traders were going through at that point, before risk management became reliant on statistical metrics. So I think that old style of risk management, provided that the risk managers have learnt this biology, would make them far better at spotting the signs, and they would get better and better. I think sports scientists, they do the monitoring, but they're also very good at just spotting the behavior on its own.
John Coates, thank you very much for your time.
Well,
author of the book, The Hour Between Dog and Wolf. Thank you very much for your coming.
Okay, thank you.